Hello, it's Andrew back again. I just wanted to update you on some of the records that I've been buying recently. If you've seen my other videos just recently, I've decided to sort of look in another direction as far as music's concerned. So I've sort of looked towards the progressive music and the heavy metal music. Now, I've always liked progressive music. I've always liked Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, things like that. But I thought there must be lots and lots of groups I've never even heard of before. So I decided to take a risk on buying quite a few CDs, which are very, very cheap these days. But I've also bought one or two vinyls, which have been complete risks. And I'm very pleased to say that of all the ones I've bought, I really, really do like them. So I thought I'd just show you the ones that I have bought. And I have to say that every single one of these albums I think is very, very good. Now, the first one I bought was this one. This is by a group called Blackstone Cherry. And this is sort of like more of a sort of southern rock type group, and there's some absolutely fantastic tracks on here. And if you like, it's sort of like heavy rock, but it's got that sort of southern rock style to it. You're sure to like this one, so I would check this one out if you do see it. Then I also bought this one by a group called Amorphis, and this is sort of like thrash metal, but it's also very classical. It's got sort of lots of classical elements to it, which makes it a very interesting listen. And I was absolutely blown away with this one. So again, I would, if you like sort of thrash metal but with a little bit more sophistication to it, then this is a very, very good album. So again, I would recommend you sample that one. So I was very pleased with that one. Then I bought this one by a group called Sabaton. This one's called Coat of Arms. Now this is, again, it's sort of heavy metal, so thrash metal type music, but it's got like a historical theme. They seem to be singing about historical wars and things like that. And very impressed with it. Very, very, very impressed with it. I've actually ordered one or two more of their albums as well, on CD this time, because the albums are a bit on the expensive side. So I've ordered a few CDs, so I'm looking forward to hearing those. But this one's called Coat of Arms, so I would definitely recommend that one as a listen. Now, I've always liked, actually this is quite different. This one is by Mark Bolan. I've always liked T-Rex, even right from the start. The first time I heard T-Rex, I think I was about 11 in 1971. These are unissued recordings he made from 1965 to 67. So he was just sort of finding his feet. Very acoustic, but he was such a genius, and the songs are so unusual that this is, for me, it is a fantastic listen. So that's slightly different, but it's a recommended record if you do like Mark Bolan. Then sort of going back into the metal side of it, although this one is more progressive music. This is by a group called Pentagram, and it's called Relentless. I think this one, although it says 2010 on it, I think this was probably issued around about 1970-71, and this is very much like Black Sabbath. It really does sound like them. So if you like Black Sabbath, you're sure to like this. I mean, the tracks on the record are Death Row, All Your Sins, The Ghoul, Dying World. So it just sounds like Black Sabbath. So yeah, if you like Black Sabbath, I would recommend this one. This one's by Pentagram. Then sort of going back into the 60s, I got this one by Apple. I think they only ever made one album. This is it. This is actually on a picture disc, and this is called An Apple a Day. I think this is the only album they ever issued, and I think it's sort of been lost for a long time. And this is absolutely essential psychedelic 60s listening. Great songs on here. Very, very 60s sounding. This is the first picture disc I've had in a long time, and I'll just show it to you. It's got an apple on one side and then that on the other, which is quite nice. The sound quality isn't quite as good. The actual music sounds okay, but there's a lot of surface noise in between the tracks. But I believe that this is the only format you can actually get this album in at the moment. Then I got a record by Monster Truck. Wow, this is a really good group. It's a new record. Well, it's a new record. It's 2018. This again is sort of southern heavy rock. There's fantastic sound to this. You know, very much heading towards the Disturbed style, although probably a little bit more progressive than that. There's some fantastic tracks on here. One particular track called Undone, which is absolutely brilliant. It's a bit more bluesy, I suppose you'd say. So again, if you like sort of blues rock, quite heavy, quite progressive sounding, this is called True Rockers, and it's by Monster Truck. So again, I would recommend that one. This one's actually quite nice because it's on white vinyl. And then, of course, I just had to complete my collection of Disturbed albums by getting this one. This is Disturbed Live at Red Rock. I don't normally buy live albums. I'm not a massive fan of live albums, but I've been so blown away with Disturbed, I thought, well, I'm just going to have to get this one because it's the only one I haven't got now. And it is absolutely fantastic. The energy and the sound quality is fantastic. You really feel like you've been to the concert when you've listened to it. It is so good. And what I like about it is that all the songs are the same length as you know them. Maybe just one's a little bit longer, Down With The Sickness, which is the last track, but all the others just last as long as they do on the albums. There's no you know, sometimes they sort of elongate them, don't they, till they're like twice as long as you expect them to be, with improvised guitaring and all this sort of thing. And I don't really like that. I'd rather listen to the songs the length that they are, that I'm familiar with, and that exactly is the case with this album. And it is absolutely brilliant. So I mean, they must be phenomenal live, because you really do feel like you've been to the concert after listening to this. So I would definitely recommend this one if you haven't got the Disturbed live album. It is really something special. Right, so those are some of the records that I bought recently. They've all been a great success. I love all of them. But there is just one more thing I need to do, and that is to do a first hearing and a reaction to a song on Disturbed's first album. Now, one or two of the tracks on here are actually on the live album, so I have actually heard them, but the live album was recorded 16 years after this, so the versions on here may be quite different. Anyway, I thought I would just have a listen to one of them. I wanted to get quite a short one, so I picked number 5. It's called Violent Fetish, and we'll give that one a listen now then.
Significant
yeah, that's good. I like it. Yeah, it's good. It is a little bit different. It's a little bit different. Not that much different, but it is a little bit different. A little bit more angst-ridden, I think. Maybe a bit darker, maybe. But not significantly different. I think his vocals improve over time. I think, you know, it's there, his voice, but I think his voice does improve on future albums. But yeah, no, that's great. That's great. I like it. Violent Fetish, that was called. The other record I got by them that I've played, which is their second album, which is this one. This one's Believe, and I've played this one through. Again, this one is a little bit less refined than later albums, but again, I really like this one. It's got a more harmonious tone to his voice on this one. And this, from what I've heard on this one so far, it's a little bit more aggressive. So I think it was probably just trying out different vocal styles. This one seems to be much softer. That one seems a little bit harsher. To me, it sounds like in future albums he blends the two together, so you get a bit of both, which I think makes it so great, really. But again, these seem to be. I've only played that track on there, so I'm not sure about that one. This one I love. I think it's great. It is a little bit different. There is a very slow song called Darkness at the end of it, which is fantastic. But I'm sure I'm going to like this one. I did like that track there. I do like the tracks that are on the live album that are on this one. But I can't imagine that I'm not going to like the rest of this. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. I don't think I've ever heard a group where I've liked every song on every album until I've listened to Disturbed. So they must now class as being my favourite artists of all time. Well, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope it's not getting too boring. That should be the last of the Disturbed albums. I want to go more into the other albums that I've bought, some that I've showed you today, some CDs I've bought as well in future videos. But thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon.